Nobody saw this coming, and now the entire hip-hop world is holding its breath. One moment, everything seemed normal. Music, money, status, power moves behind the scenes. The next, chaos. Headlines started flashing, social media lit up, and suddenly, two names were everywhere. J. Prince Jr. and NBA Ben 10. But this isn't just another industry rumor. This is the kind of story that makes people pause mid-scroll. The kind that has fans asking, wait, what really happened? Because here's where it gets intense. Unconfirmed reports began circulating that NBA Ben 10, known for his close ties to NBA YoungBoy's circle, had been seriously injured, with some sources even claiming he was left paralyzed. At the same time, whispers started spreading that J. Prince Jr., a powerful figure with deep roots in the industry, had been arrested. And just like that, everything changed. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. And social media, it's going crazy trying to connect the dots. But here's the thing, nothing is confirmed. Still, that hasn't stopped people from talking, from speculating, from digging into old tensions, past conflicts, and moments that now feel different. Was this random? Was it personal? Or is there something deeper happening behind the scenes that nobody fully understands yet? Because when names like these collide, it's never just a coincidence. And now, the question everyone's asking is simple, but chilling. What really happened that night? The story started quietly, almost too quietly for something that would later explode across timelines, blogs, and group chats. At first, it was just another late night headline that people scrolled past without thinking twice. But within hours, everything changed. Names that carry serious weight in the hip-hop world were suddenly tied together in a situation that felt bigger than music. J. Prince Jr., a figure known for influence behind the scenes, and NBA Ben 10, someone closely connected to rising rap energy, were now being mentioned in the same breath for all the wrong reasons. And when news began to spread that NBA Ben 10 had been left paralyzed after an incident, fans immediately felt that something deeper was going on. Emotions ran high, and confusion quickly turned into speculation. At first, details were scattered and unclear. Some reports suggested there had been an altercation, while others hinted at something more calculated. Nothing was confirmed, but that didn't stop social media from doing what it does best. Within minutes, clips, old photos, and past connections were being reposted, analyzed, and questioned. Fans were shocked, not just because of what allegedly happened, but because of who was involved. J. Prince Jr. isn't just a random name in the industry. His ties run deep, and people know that situations connected to him tend to carry layers that aren't always visible on the surface. Meanwhile, NBA Ben 10's name brought a completely different energy into the conversation. Known for his association with a major rap figure and a lifestyle that reflects the highs and lows of that world, his situation immediately triggered emotional reactions. People began posting messages of support, while others started asking how things could escalate to such a serious outcome. Some fans believed this was the result of ongoing tensions, while others felt like something unexpected must have happened behind closed doors. Again, nothing was confirmed, but the intensity of the discussion kept growing. As the hours passed, more voices joined the conversation. Influencers, bloggers, and even people close to the culture began sharing their thoughts. Some were careful, reminding everyone that the full story hadn't come out yet. Others leaned into the speculation, connecting dots that may or may not have been related. There's more to this, one user posted, gaining thousands of likes within minutes. Another wrote, "This don't just happen out of nowhere." And just like that, the narrative started to build itself piece by piece without any official confirmation. What made the situation even more intense was the mention of an alleged arrest involving J. Prince Jr. That single detail sent shockwaves through the community. If true, it meant this wasn't just a rumor or misunderstanding. It suggested that authorities might already be involved, which added another layer of seriousness. But once again, clarity was missing. Some people claimed they had sources confirming the arrest, while others dismissed it as misinformation. The phrase, "nothing is confirmed," kept appearing under posts, but it didn't slow anything down. If anything, it made people even more curious. Behind all the noise, there was a real human situation unfolding. NBA Ben 10's reported condition became the emotional center of the story. Words like paralyzed carry weight, and fans felt that immediately. Messages shifted from curiosity to concern. People who had followed his journey began expressing support, while others who didn't know much about him still felt the gravity of the moment. It was no longer just about what happened, it was about what it meant. At the same time, the hip-hop world seemed to pause, watching closely. Artists didn't say much publicly, but their silence spoke volumes. When situations like this happen, every move matters. Every post, every comment, every absence is noticed. Some people think that silence means there's truth to the rumors, while others believe it's just a sign of respect for the situation. Either way, fans were paying attention, and as the story continued to unfold, one thing became clear. This wasn't just another headline. This was one of those moments that pulls everyone in, whether they want to be involved or not. The mix of uncertainty, emotion, and high-profile names created a situation that felt impossible to ignore. Social media was going crazy, people were divided, and questions were piling up faster than answers. What really happened that night? How did things escalate to this level? And most importantly, what comes next? Those questions hung in the air, unanswered, as the story kept gaining momentum. As the situation continued to unfold, the energy online shifted from confusion to full-blown chaos. Social media was going crazy, and it felt like every few minutes there was a new claim, a new clip, or a new inside source adding fuel to the fire. Fans were glued to their screens, refreshing timelines, trying to make sense of what was real and what was just noise. Even the names involved carried too much weight for people to ignore, and emotions were running high across every platform. Some people were angry, others were worried, and a lot of people were simply trying to piece the story together in real time. Then came the first major wave of reactions that really pushed things to another level. Unconfirmed reports began circulating that there had been tension building long before this incident ever happened. Some fans believe that certain behind-the-scenes disagreements may have escalated over time, while others are saying this could have been a sudden situation that spiraled out of control. Nothing is confirmed, but the idea that this wasn't random started to take hold. People began digging into past interactions, looking at old photos, old videos, even old lyrics, or trying to find clues that might explain what led up to this moment. One viral post claimed, "This been brewing, y'all just didn't see it." That single statement sparked thousands of replies. Some agreed, pointing out subtle moments from the past that now seemed suspicious in hindsight. Others pushed back, saying people were reaching and turning a serious situation into entertainment. Still, the speculation kept spreading. The line between fact and theory started to blur, and that's when things became even more intense. At the same time, conversations around NBA Ben 10's condition grew heavier. The word paralyzed continued to echo across posts, and fans were struggling to process it. Messages of support flooded timelines, with people hoping for recovery and strength. "Prayers up" became one of the most repeated phrases online. But alongside that support came frustration. Many were asking how something like this could happen in a space where people are supposed to be connected through music and culture. Emotions ran high, and you could feel the shift from curiosity to something much deeper. Then, the alleged arrest of J. Prince Jr. became a central focus again, but this time with even more intensity. Some people claimed to have seen footage, others said law enforcement had stepped in, and a few even suggested that this could lead to a much bigger legal situation. Still, nothing was confirmed. That uncertainty created two sides of the conversation. One group believed the reports and felt this was the beginning of accountability. The other group urged caution, reminding everyone how quickly misinformation spreads. "Don't jump to conclusions," one user posted, gaining traction as people debated back and forth. Meanwhile, influencers and content creators began weighing in, each offering their own perspective. Some approached it carefully, sticking to verified details and reminding viewers that the full story hadn't come out yet. Others leaned into the drama, presenting theories and possibilities that only added to the suspense. Videos analyzing the situation started trending, each one pulling in thousands of views within hours. Titles hinted at secrets, hidden tensions, and unseen moments, making it even harder for fans to separate reality from speculation. Behind the scenes, some people think there may be conversations happening that the public isn't hearing. In situations like this, not everything plays out online. There are always layers, always details that don't make it to social media right away. That idea alone kept fans on edge. If what's being discussed publicly is only part of the story, then what else is out there? That question lingered as more and more voices joined the discussion. Adding to the tension was the silence from key figures connected to both sides. No clear statements, no direct responses, just a noticeable absence that fans quickly picked up on. Some people believe that silence means legal issues are involved, while others think it's a sign of respect for a serious situation. Either way, it only made the mystery deeper. When people expect answers and don't get them, they start creating their own. As the hours turned into a full day, the situation no longer felt like just a trending topic. It felt like something bigger. Something that could have long-term consequences. The mix of alleged legal trouble, a life-changing injury, and powerful names created a story that was impossible to ignore. People were divided, theories were everywhere, and the emotional weight of it all continued to grow. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more intense, new whispers began to surface. Some were subtle, others were bold, but all of them pointed to one idea. There might be more to this story than anyone is ready to say out loud. By this point, the situation had reached a level where it no longer felt like just online chatter. It felt heavy, real, the kind of moment where the entire culture pauses even if nobody says it out loud. Fans were no longer just reacting, they were emotionally invested. Timelines were filled with concern, frustration, and confusion all at once. Every update, no matter how small or unverified, carried weight. And as the hours stretched on, the tone of the conversation became more serious than ever. Support for NBA Ben 10 continued to pour in, and it came from all directions. People who had followed his journey for years, and even those who only knew his name in passing, were posting messages hoping for strength and recovery. Stay strong. Prayers up, and we hoping for the best became constant refrains. The idea that someone could be dealing with something this life-altering hit hard. Even in a space known for drama and competition, moments like this remind people how real everything actually is. Fans are shocked, and you could feel that shock turning into something deeper. Concern mixed with helplessness. At the same time, as to the conversation surrounding Jay Prince Jr. became more intense and more divided. Some people were quick to defend him, pointing out that no official details had been confirmed and warning others not to rush to judgment. Y'all gotta stop putting pieces together that don't even fit, one user wrote, echoing a sentiment shared by many who felt the internet was moving too fast. But on the other side, there were those who believed the timing of everything felt too close to ignore. Some people think there has to be a connection, even if it hasn't been made clear yet. That divide only added to the tension, creating a back and forth that showed no signs of slowing down. As emotions ran high, alleged insider voices began to emerge more frequently. 1. Accounts claiming to have direct knowledge of the situation started posting details that quickly spread across platforms. Some described what they believed happened that night, while others hinted at deeper issues that had been building for a while. But once again, nothing is confirmed. That didn't stop people from listening, though. In moments like this, when official information is limited, even the smallest claim can feel significant. The problem is, not all of those claims can be trusted, and that only makes the situation more complicated. Another layer of tension came from the way people started revisiting the past. Old moments, old connections, and even casual interactions were being re-examined under a microscope. Fans began asking questions like, was there tension here? Or did this moment mean something more? It's a pattern that happens often when something serious unfolds. People look backward, hoping to find answers that explain the present. Sometimes they find something meaningful. Other times, they create connections that were never really there. Right now, it's hard to tell the difference. Meanwhile, the silence from those closest to the situation became louder than ever. No detailed statements, no clear timelines, just a noticeable absence that left space for speculation to grow. Some people believe that silence means there are legal factors involved, and that speaking too soon could complicate things. Others think it's simply a matter of respect, allowing time for facts to come out before saying anything publicly. Either way, the lack of clarity kept everyone guessing. When people expect answers and don't get them, the imagination starts to take over. Content creators continued to amplify the story, each bringing their own angle. Some focused on the emotional side, highlighting the seriousness of NBA Ben 10's reported uncharted condition. Others leaned into investigative-style breakdowns, trying to connect timelines and identify possible links. Titles became more dramatic, thumbnails more intense, and the overall tone of the coverage grew heavier. This wasn't just news anymore. It was a story unfolding in real time, with millions of people watching and reacting at once. What made everything feel even more complicated was the realization that the truth might not come out quickly. Situations involving serious injuries and potential legal issues often take time to fully understand. But in a world driven by instant updates, that waiting period can feel unbearable. People want clarity now, they want answers now, and when they don't get them, they fill the gap with theories, opinions, and assumptions. At the center of all this noise is a reality that can't be ignored. A person is reportedly dealing with a life-changing situation, and another person's name is being pulled into a storm of speculation. The emotional weight of that is something fans can feel, even through screens. This is no longer just about curiosity or entertainment. It's about understanding what really happened and what it means moving forward. And yet, despite all the discussion, all the posts, and all the theories, one truth remains unchanged. Nobody outside of those directly involved seems to know the full story. That uncertainty continues to hang over everything, making each new update feel like it could change the entire narrative. As the situation reached its most intense point, the entire atmosphere around it began to shift again. What started as scattered rumors had now turned into a full-scale conversation that extended far beyond social media. People weren't just reacting anymore. They were waiting for clarity, for confirmation, for something solid they could finally hold on to. But instead of answers, a new wave of claims began to surface, and once again, everything felt uncertain. Some voices online started suggesting that authorities might be looking deeper into what happened. A few posts hinted at a broader investigation, while others quickly pushed back, saying those claims were exaggerated or completely false. Nothing is confirmed, but the mere idea of something larger happening behind the scenes was enough to raise the stakes even higher. Fans are shocked, and the tension could be felt in every comment section. People were asking bigger questions now, not just about the incident itself, but about what could come next. At the same time, discussions about NBA Ben 10 took on an even more emotional tone. The possibility of a life-changing injury continued to weigh heavily on everyone following the story. Support messages kept coming in, but alongside that support was a growing sense of frustration. Many were asking why there still wasn't any clear update, why no official voice had stepped forward to address what was being said. Some people believe that the silence means the situation is more serious than anyone initially thought. Others think it's simply a matter of giving things time before speaking publicly. Either way, the lack of clarity kept emotions running high. Meanwhile, the conversation around J. Prince Jr. reached a turning point. Instead of just speculation about an alleged arrest, people began debating what accountability would even look like if any of these claims turned out to be true. Some argued that it's unfair to attach someone's name to a situation without confirmed details. Others insisted that where there's smoke, there might be something more. People are divided, and the arguments became more intense as each side stood firm in what they believed. Then came a moment that shifted everything slightly, though it still didn't provide full answers. A few individuals close to the culture began posting messages that felt more reflective than reactive. Instead of feeding into rumors, they focused on the seriousness of the situation, reminding people that real lives are involved. One post read, "This bigger than the internet. Let's not forget that." That message resonated with many, slowing the conversation down just enough for people to take a step back and think. Even with that brief pause, the mystery remained. Some people think there are conversations happening behind closed doors that the public isn't meant to hear yet. Others believe that once official details come out, the entire narrative could shift in a way nobody expects. That uncertainty is what keeps the story alive. Every small update, every new claim, every moment of silence feels like it could be leading up to something bigger. The hip-hop community as a whole seemed to be watching carefully. Artists, producers, and insiders weren't saying much, but their awareness was obvious. In situations like this, words carry weight, and timing matters. Speaking too soon can create problems, but saying nothing can also raise questions. That delicate balance added another layer of tension, making everything everything feel even more unpredictable. What stands out the most right now is how incomplete everything feels. There are pieces of the story scattered everywhere, but they don't fully connect yet. One side of the narrative suggests a serious, possibly targeted situation. Another side suggests coincidence and misinformation being amplified beyond control. And somewhere in the middle is the truth, still out of reach. As time continues to pass, people are left with more questions than answers. What exactly happened that led to such a serious outcome? And is there any real connection between the names being discussed? Or are separate situations being combined into one story? And perhaps the biggest question of all, when the truth finally comes out, will it match what people have been saying online? Or will it change everything completely? For now, all anyone can do is watch, wait, and try to separate fact from speculation. Social media is still active, still debating, still searching for clarity. Emotions are still high and opinions are still divided. But beneath all of that noise is a shared understanding that this situation is far from over. Whatever the truth turns out to be, one thing is certain. This moment has already left an impact and the final chapter hasn't been written yet. CTA right now, we're left with a situation that feels unfinished, unclear, and honestly, a little unsettling. You've got reports about NBA Ben 10 that have people genuinely concerned. You've got ongoing talks surrounding J. Prince Jr. that still hasn't been confirmed. And in the middle of all that, you've got social media going crazy, trying to connect dots, build timelines, and figure out what actually happened. But here's the reality. Nothing is confirmed. And that's what makes this story so intense. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. People are divided between those who believe there's something deeper going on and those who think this is a case of rumors spiraling way out of control. At the end of the day, real lives are involved, and the truth hasn't fully come out yet. Until it does, everything we're seeing is speculation, theories, and reactions happening in real time. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think really happened? Do you think these situations are connected? Or is the internet just putting pieces together that don't belong? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And if you want more updates, more breakdowns, and more real-time stories like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Because this story, it's still unfolding.